We are live now.
Perfect.
Yeah. So hello everyone. कैसे हैं आप सब? Welcome back to the Sorex again. We are back with another exciting session for you guys. And as you all know, I'm your host Raghav, hosting the Sorex sessions as always. So today we are having us with Miss Sanya Duggal, partner go-to-market strategy manager at Microsoft. Am I right, ma'am?
Yes.
There's a little bit long thing, na? That's why I'm asking that am I right or not? Just that. So today we are going to talking about. Sorry, not we are going to talk about. Sanya ma'am going to teach us about the from degrees to skills and all the things in the current in trending era. What's going on? What are the things going on? So Sanya ma'am, now the virtual stage is all yours. Guys, I think there is something technical issue. Sanya ma'am. Guys, I think there is a technical issue. She'll back in a minute. So just wait for a minute. तब तक के लिए we can do some chit chat. Drop your favorites or your messages you want to share with Sorex in the comments. And okay, so Sanya ma'am is with us again. Yeah, now it is good. Yeah, ma'am, you are visible now. So we can start with the session. I would like to hand over the virtual stage to you. Uh, what is this going on? Guys, I think कुछ technical issue हो रहा है तो थोड़ा सा we have to like wait for 1 or 2 minutes. She'll be back. Hello Vinay, hello, how are you? तब तक के लिए we will do some chit chat with our Sorex fam. Hi Vinay, how are you? Hi Kunal. Something you guys want to drop us for? तो गाइज अगर हम कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट चीज़ों के बारे में बात करें तो या विनय आई एम गुड व्हाट अबाउट यू तो एक मेजर जो हमारा टॉपिक है जो मुद्दा आजकल बना हुआ है दैट इज एआई तो विल इट गोइंग टू चेंज द फ्यूचर और नॉट और देर आर लॉट्स ऑफ थिंग्स इन माइंड ऑफ डिफरेंट पीपल लोगों के दिमाग में अलग अलग चीज़ें हैं एआई को लेकर तो अगर हम उसके रिगार्डिंग बात करें so AI is like going to in next 4 5 years from our Sorex point of view, it is going to change the things. Kunal, buddy, I am not Vinay. I am Raghav. I think you. So But if you are asking about a SOREX, SOREX is a student pan India student community organization who helps students to grow their learning and reward them with swags, tech initiatives we run, student programs we run. So this is the SOREX. Okay, okay. So Kunal, Goel, and Vinay Agarwal are the student-teacher relation. I think these guys are greeting each other. That's nice. So हम बात कर रहे थे एआई के बारे में एंड लाइक एआई इज टेकिंग ओवर द थिंग्स. सो अगर हम एआई के बारे में बात करें तो एवरीथिंग इज गोइंग टू चेंज यार. मतलब आई इन द सोरेक्स टीम पर्सनली फील्स कि एआई के बाद एआई इज गोइंग टू चेंज द थिंग्स. मतलब देर आर लॉट्स ऑफ वर्क दैट इज गोइंग टू ऑटोमेटेड बाय द एआई. या एंड लाइक देर आर टूल्स की पीपल कैन नेवर थिंक. मतलब आज से 4-5 साल बैक वी आर यूज टू थिंक कि ऐसे कुछ नहीं होगा ऑटोमेटिकली. फॉर एन एग्जांपल दैट चैट जीपीटी इज वेरी वर्क, Gemini is there, Perplexity AI is there, Commodore AI is there. तो एक $20 का टूल as intelligent as human is what we can imagine. Okay, so I think Sanya ma'am is back us with again.
Hello. I'll try to keep the video
Sanya
off
ma'am.
because I think that's what causing the lag. Yeah.
Okay, sure ma'am. No, no problem. Yeah. So okay ma'am, now I would like to hand over the virtual stage to you and it is all yours.
Thank you so much. Let me share my screen and Raghav, if you can just confirm if everything is visible, audible, fine. Just give me 30
Yeah,
seconds.
yeah, sure ma'am.
Raghav, is the slide visible and am I audible?
Yes ma'am, your slide is visible and audio is also good. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So we are
For
good to
ma'am,
start?
like first few minutes, if you could on your camera, then you can just switch off the video for the quality
Yeah,
purpose.
actually, I think that is what is causing the application to crash.
Ma'am, no problem by the video. Please continue.
Raghav, I think the video is causing the application to crash.
Yeah, I got it, ma'am. So no problem. You can remain the camera off. Just we can continue with the session now.
Okay, okay, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, slides are up.
Yeah, ma'am. Slides are up now.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. I'll take it on from here, Raghav. In case there's an issue with the audio or anything like that, right? Just let me know.
Yeah.
Either
Okay.
just give me a call
Okay,
or
ma'am.
just let me know. Okay. Otherwise, I'll just continue for the next couple of minutes and speak on from degrees to skills, thriving in the digital era. One of my most favorite topics. First of all, a very, very warm welcome to everyone who's joined in today. It's a Saturday afternoon. It's that time of the year when there's festivity all around. And even in this time, you've taken out, minutes from your schedule and you've joined us here. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate your time. A very quick disclaimer that all views expressed are my personal and are not endorsed by my organization or any other organization. Completely personal. But then, how did I build these views, right? So, let me give you a quick introduction. My name is Sanya Duggal. I have about 11 years total experience. I've worked with Microsoft. It's been more than 4 years here. Before Microsoft, I did my MBA from MDI Gurgaon. And prior to that, I worked for about 6 years with two different organizations. The first one was a startup, the second one was a consulting organization. At Microsoft, I'm into partner go to market and strategy. I lead the India and South Asia countries, specifically focused on SMB Azure. And I know these are a lot of words, but then probably through the duration of this discussion, I'll talk to you about what it really means. Apart from this, I'm also a writer. So I've published a research paper. I write for online platforms. I'm a startup enthusiast. I do mentor startups and younger talent. I also support NGOs. And in the early part of my career, which is the first 7 to 8 odd years, I did freelancing work with 90 plus small and medium organizations. Some of these were also SMBs. So I mentioned about the last 10, 11 odd years, right? But from the point that I started my career to the point that it is today, between 2013 and today, there's a lot that has changed. First of all, the generation has changed. I'm a millennial, and I'm assuming that most of you on the call are actually Gen Z, by far the smartest generation that we have, the generation that's come up with technology, that's learned technology, that works with technology day in and day out. So a lot of things have changed in the last decade. However, when I look at it, right, I also see and I also feel that it's not just the generation which has changed, but it is the linearity of the career curve which has changed. Now, what does that mean? When you look at something which is linear, and when I say linear, I mean there's a certain process to it, there's a certain way in how it works, right? So, about 30, 40 odd years ago, if you looked at people's careers, how were those careers shaped? You join an organization, you work hard, you work harder, and then you grow up the ranks. After a point in time, you will become a manager, a director, or maybe a country lead. These promotions will ultimately get you to a certain point where you feel maybe successful in your career, or you're slightly ahead than anyone else. This obviously took a lot of time. It took 15 years, 20 years, 30 years. And a career in general is also about 40 odd years, right? You start working somewhere between 20 to 25 years, and then you continue till about 60 to 65. So 40 odd years. There was a linearity in how careers shaped up. You start a job, you stick to it, you become an expert at it. Your energy changes into experience, your experience changes into your expertise, and that is what takes you ahead in the game of your career. However, today's world is not at all linear. And why do I say that? This non linear world has a lot of things. Okay, just look around. Don't listen to me. Just look around. Just feel around. What do you see? There is somebody who's 23 years of age and could be a billionaire. Somebody who started a company in the last 3 years has, changed the face of the entire industry. There's a lot of disruption now. Technology has actually disrupted every area, every industry. You look at education, the closest thing that you feel is home. In 2013 or maybe in 2010, when I finished school, the schooling system was very, very different to how it is now. Very small changes. Even people studying in school, right? I did not have a mobile phone back in the day, but today, if you see, parents receive WhatsApp updates from the teachers. When you look at it, your course structures would have changed. You meet an alum from your institute who maybe passed out about 10 odd years ago, and you look at their course structure versus you look at your course structure. Everything has changed. It's not the same, right? What is causing this change? Technology, disruptions, the introduction of the mobile, the internet, these are causing these changes. What does this mean to your career? Your career is no longer linear. It is no longer going to follow that path of 5 years, 10 years, now a promotion, now a manager, now a director. Anything and everything that you want to do is doable today. And you do not need to do a lot of different things, right, to get there. So everything is very non linear. Now, to survive and thrive in this non linear world, you need to have non linear skill set as well, because what made people successful 30 years ago will not make people successful today, right? But first of all, let's take a step back. And in the next 20, 25 odd minutes, I'm going to talk to you about three different aspects. Okay. Whenever, I give my introduction and maybe I speak to students like yourselves, a very common question that I get asked is, how do I land a job in a big tech company? How do I land a job with a bigger known brand? And what do I need to do in order to get that brand? Very frequently, this question is accompanied by another question, which is like, I don't belong to a tier one institute, or I don't belong to that, top tier branded institutes, if I can put it that way. Now, how will I be able to capture this opportunity? Will I be able to get that big of, that job opportunity that I'm trying to aim for? So these are a couple of things that I get questions on, and today I want to talk to you about three things that provide answers to these specific questions. First of all, where is the opportunity? If everyone is chasing for one specific job, where really is that opportunity? First of all. Second is, if you figure out what is that opportunity, how do you truly tap into it? And third thing is, what can you do today to really tap into that opportunity and build that career, especially when you're living in a world which is digital, when you're living in a world which is non-linear, right? Where is the opportunity? Technology industry, if you look at it per se, so while everyone will say that I want a job at X organization, Y organization, I want a job at Microsoft, honestly, I would say just maybe look back. It's a very myopic view of how you look at the industry per se. You might be interested in the technology industry, but now when you look at the technology industry holistically, there's tons and tons of opportunity, specifically in India as a geography, tons and tons of opportunity everywhere. Why am I saying that? There is a breadth of the industry. What is breadth? How the technology industry is structured is that there are original equipment manufacturers, OEMs as we call them. Microsoft is one, and then there are similar organizations, right, who built the technology that you're using today. For example, I'm using PowerPoint. Microsoft has built that technology. So it's an OEM. After the OEMs, there is a distributor and partner ecosystem. This distributor and partner ecosystem, these are pretty much technology organizations which serve as a link between the OEM and the customers at the last mile. These partners, these organizations are enablers of technology. Some of them are very familiar names to you, like TCS or a Wipro or an HCL, and some of them might not be as familiar, but they are also doing a great job in the economy, to provide this bridge between the OEM and the customers. How many customers, how many partners does Microsoft has? It has 17,000 plus partner ecosystem. So first of all, there are many, many OEMs in the industry. Secondly, there is this partner ecosystem of 17,000 is just the number for Microsoft. This number is different for different OEMs. Now, if you add up all of these organizations, it again forms a very, very huge cohort of the organizations who will have technology related jobs for you. And then the third tier, which is the actual customer who is using this technology to make a difference into their businesses. And these businesses could be manufacturing, could be healthcare, could be financial sector, could be education, it could be any customer. Now these customers, customers for us, but then these are small or medium enterprises in the economy of India. Every single organization today needs technology, not just to support the regular functioning of the business, but also to thrive in an economy where there's a multitude of competition and the customer expectations are very high. By any rough estimates, there are about 75 million plus organizations, small and medium business organizations in India. Now, add up all of these different numbers and you will realize how wide is the industry. But when we look at it, we look at only one aspect and we say, hey, I want to get a job at this X organization. Why? Probably we don't even have an answer. So, yes, first of all, there's a huge opportunity in terms of how the industry is shaped up. Second thing is depth of roles. While a lot of you would be familiar with the software engineering roles, probably you might not be familiar with the other aspects of technology as well. So now I'll probably try to decode what my role truly does. As I learn it and as I understand, technology has two aspects. There are people who are building technology, and then there are people responsible for taking the technology and getting it into the hands of the people who are willing to utilize it, pay for it, and make a difference to their own organizations. Now, people on this other side are into again different sorts of roles. There could be people who are creating the go to market strategy, like me. There are people working with the partner ecosystem. You remember, right? I mentioned that there's a breadth in the industry and there are many players in the ecosystem. So there are role types who work with this partner ecosystem as well. There are people in marketing, there are people in sales, there are even people in sales excellence who support the sellers at the back end. So there's no one type of role who is running the entire organization. Just with Microsoft, 220,000 people work at Microsoft. And similarly, now if you count the number of people working at different organizations, you will realize that not everyone is coding something and building something. That is one part and a very, very heavy and deep part of the technology ecosystem. But then the amplitude of roles which are available is immense. So if you were to look at it, number of organizations in the entire industry and different role types depending on what you feel is best for your specific skill set. And third is outside of the core industry. Now, what I talked to you about is just technology industry. And then I mentioned that there are customers that we have 75 million plus SMBs in India by any estimate. And this number is one of the numbers provided in research reports on the web. You could find variations of this number as well. But outside of this technology industry, every single financial services organization today needs technology. For example, you look at the last 10, 15, 20 years. Were we really using UPI as much? Were we using these payment options, the fintech options as much? Not really. But today, can we do without it? No, not at all. We need these payment options everywhere. Even if you go to a fruit seller, or you go to a vegetable seller, or you go to any small seller on the roadside, right? Even they accept a UPI payment. That is the penetration of technology that is available today. Why am I telling you this? That it's not only the technology industry which will have a requirement and skill set of folks like you. It is every single organization today, whether it is manufacturing, whether it is education, whether it is financial services, whether it is healthcare. Every single organization is digitizing some or the other components of their core functioning, and that is where more role types come in. So, is there an opportunity? Yes, there is a very, very wide opportunity for the type of things that you are learning today. Now, the second question comes that, okay, I understand that there is a requirement of a skill set like mine, and whatever I'm learning will be useful to me in the coming some time. But then, what does the industry need? How do I brush up my skill set? What should I do as an individual? And assuming that you are probably between the ages of somewhere 17, 18 to 25, 26, what should I build on today that I'm relevant in this industry tomorrow? The industry, in my opinion, again, needs a T-shaped type of skill set. Now, what is a T shape? T has two lines. There is a broad skill set requirement, which is the horizontal line, and there is a deep skill set requirement, which is a vertical line. What is this broad skill set? It is the ability to work outside of your core area, and I'll tell you why that is required. And second is the vertical skill set, which is the depth of experience, your functional area, discipline, or your specialty. Now, this specialty can be anything. You can be really good at some technology, like Raghav was mentioning previously. Maybe you develop your skill set into leveraging generative AI. That is one skill set. Or maybe you are good at marketing and you can apply your marketing skill set into the technology industry. Or it could be something different, but for you to have at least one skill set which you are truly very deep is very important. Let me try to decode this for you and build it out into a T shape so that you probably find it more relevant than the just a graphic, right? So first of all, think about, instead of trying to think that okay, I want to land a job at Microsoft, or I want to land a job at a top technology company, because that might not be what you're truly after. You might be looking at an outcome of that particular job, which is a monetary benefit, or which is probably recognition, etc. But go a little bit deeper and try to think that what is it that you are truly good at, what is it that you can do, and in that try to develop a functional expertise. Once you have developed a functional expertise into anything, think about the different various platforms which are available, which I just talked to you about, and where will you be able to apply this functional skill set. That probably is your right north star. You'll be able to attain it much faster, and you'll be able to stick around in that job for much longer as well, because now it's not generic goal that everyone is after and I'm also running after it. It's a specific goal which is only relevant for your skill set. So first of all, I would say, in this age of digital, in this digital era where everything is non-linear, one of the core things that you truly need is a functional expertise. A lot of times when I go to these forums and I ask students, can you tell me what is that one thing that you are truly good at, for which somebody is also willing to pay you, right? What is that skill set? And most of the times people don't have an answer to that question. If you are also in the same boat, now is a good time that you might want to reflect and see that what is that one skill set that probably you have today, and if you do not have, how do you build upon it? Let me take an example of AI. It's a buzzword, as most people say it, but then there are tons of opportunities in every industry of people who know and understand AI and can actually implement it. So if you say that I want to become an expert at AI, it is not just the theoretical knowledge that you need beyond it. It is not just certification, it is something more. You will actually need to take that skill set, learn about it, and then implement it. Where can you implement it? First of all, if you know how to really make something, solve a problem for your college. Nobody is stopping you to do that. There are more than enough free resources available for students on the web that you can leverage to build something. If you think that you have become good at it, solve a problem for a startup, right? They might not pay you more, but they will give you definitely good exposure. If you think that now you're very good at it, why not do a freelance assignment for it? Why not take up a stretch project? Why not do a live project? Why not solve a problem in somebody you could have relatives and friends who are running organizations of their own. Why not take that AI expertise and solve a problem for them? Solve a core business problem for them. This is how you develop a functional expertise. You learn about the subject, you learn theoretical knowledge, you get theoretical knowledge, you gain a certification, you apply that skill set into something so that you can prove that you truly know about it. Once you have that, you will need a couple of more things in order to succeed in this digital era. Growth mindset. What is growth mindset? See, everyone wants an extraordinary result, right? But remember that extraordinary comes with the word extra. If you're doing ordinary, you cannot get an extraordinary result. For that, you will need to put in something extra. And what is that specific extra? First of all, growth mindset, a very core philosophy that um, you know, Microsoft teaches us and wants us to adapt. Growth mindset is when you are able to find a solution in every problem, when you are able to step forward and say, okay, I see a problem, I see that there is something lacking, but I'm also willing to work upon it, improvise upon it, and I'm willing to make a difference to it. That is a growth mindset. This is not something that anybody can honestly teach you. You just learn about it and you try to implement it into your daily practices. Second thing is your adaptability to change. Now, what is change? Change is the only constant, right? The pace of change has actually increased in the last couple of years. Whatever was taking 5 years, 7 years to build a couple of years back now just takes 5 months, 6 months, especially with the advent of generative AI. So, for that, you will have to make sure that you are very adaptable to change. Oftentimes what happens is when we learn something, we become rigid about it. Okay, now I have learned it, I want to stick with it, and I am not willing to change, even if I'm able to get a better job for learning something else, even if I'm able to get better money in a different job. But for that, I will have to learn more things, I'll have to change my area or my skill set. Do not fall into that trap. Be adaptable to change. At least learn something new every single day. Third is an entrepreneurial spirit. And I say spirit, and not, I'm not saying go everyone start up something of your own. I'm just saying that having that spirit, having that ownership mindset, and saying that I will do what my job requires, but I will also do what is right for the business, what the business needs. I can step out of my comfort zone, I can do something additional. That is an entrepreneurial spirit. The passion of solving something because it gives a result to the business, and not just, oh, this was my job, I'm done with it, I'm done for the day, I'm leaving. No. Having that entrepreneurial spirit will take you much farther than anything else. Cross functional knowledge. So we talked about functional expertise, having deep skill set into at least one thing, but then knowing a little bit about everything will serve a good purpose, because it helps you connect the dots across the organization. Communication and presentation, I think it's not just me who will be telling you this, probably a lot of people will tell you. The art of articulation is a very, very essential skill, especially in the job world. If you can do something, if you can create something, but you're not able to present it across, your opportunities might get a little limited. Whereas on the other hand, if you're able to present it well, if you're able to articulate your thoughts well, it will take you much farther. And last is innovation. In a time when everything is available so easily on the internet, right? Innovation is a very, very valuable skill. I would have judged, in all honesty, I would have judged some 2025 hackathons in the last couple of months. And there were hardly probably one or two or three ideas which really stood out. Otherwise, most of them are just copy and paste. People take ideas from one area, they replicate it in the other one, thinking that okay, somebody won a prize for it somewhere else, maybe I can win it too. Innovation is a rare skill, it has become a rare skill. And if you are able to create anything, if you are able to be even a little bit innovative, it will take you much farther. So going back to what we were discussing, today's world is non-linear. The same, if you put the same input, this you might not even get the same output, you might get something even lesser. If you want to have a better output, a better outcome for your career, there are three things to look at. First is, where is the opportunity? There, the opportunity is endless. Just don't be blindsided with one thing that everyone is trying to go after. Expand the horizons. Second is, develop a T-shaped skill set. First of all, figure out what are you truly good at, and then try to reverse engineer and see where are those right jobs placed for you and where will you be a good fit, right? Once you have figured that out, follow this T-shaped skill set. Try to improvise every single day, and you will see that you will land up in a very good place in terms of a job or in terms of building a career for yourself, which could be a job, which can be working at a startup also, which can be building a startup of your own as well. It can be any of them. As I said, right, the world is non-linear. Now you might question that, okay, everyone gives us a lot of gyan, as we call it, and in B schools we call it FAF. There's a lot of English that people share. But then where do I start from? I don't have time. There are just so many things to do and so many things are happening all the time. It's very difficult to cope up. So where can I start from? I'll just say three things, okay? Very easy. Just focus on any given day. Just look at how much time are you spending creating technology and how much time are you spending consuming technology. Most times than not, you are probably spending most of your times consuming technology, consuming social media platforms, consuming information from LinkedIn maybe, and other platforms as well. Engaging with your friends over conversations, etc. All of that is good to have, definitely continue. I'm not saying that get away from it. I'm just saying that whatever you learn, take a bit of it. Whatever you're consuming 100 things is not important. Consuming 10, but being able to apply just one of it into your daily life is what will create the difference. You can read tons and tons of information and not do anything about it. It won't give you any results. Why am I saying that? Think about it. If I want to say lose weight, okay, and I read that okay, I should be eating fruits and vegetables, and I should go to the gym, and I even sign up. I pay all of that money, and I never actually go to the gym. I'm consuming information. I'm asking people. I've enrolled myself in the right certifications and courses, but I am not applying any of it anywhere. Do you think I'll be able to lose weight? Do you think I'll actually be able to get into a fitter shape? Most likely not. Manifestation even also does not work like this, right? Instead, take a bit of your consumption time. Do not consume 100 things. Consume 4 things, 5 things, 10 things, 20 things, more than enough. But out of it, take a little bit and create something of your own. Whether it is building a new platform, whether it is building a new application, whether it is building a new website, whether it is solving a problem for a startup, whether it is solving a problem for your own college. But create something that will stick on, that will stay on, and can help more people than you know, right? Second thing is, okay, now it's getting like a lot of information. We know that we need to get a skill set. We know that we need to identify a right job. We consume information. We should spend some time creating something as well. But then I don't have time. There's just too much information, and I don't know what to do. Think about it. In this, I when we started the discussion, right? I said we are living in a digital age. What is a digital age? There's a lot of information everywhere. Everyone is telling you something. You are consuming a lot of information. But what happens is that when you consume a lot of information, these are like arrows. Okay, every time you consume a bit of information, you're taking one arrow and you're putting it into something like a virtual quiver. You know, you are adding the arrows one by one, one by one, one by one, and you're putting it in your backpack, and you're saying, okay, someday when I require this information, I'll be able to fire all of it at one go, and when I fire it, everything will work out very well for me. Till the time, I'll keep on saving this information. When I say saving information from, say, LinkedIn posts, saving information about certifications to do, learning from different communities and platforms and forums like this one, and then saving it for later on. Ask yourself this question: how many times do we actually go back and revisit all of that information? Never. Because 24 hours is just too less to consume the amount of information that we are getting. And even further, it is even more difficult now to actually not just consume, but consume it and then create something. To that oath, I would say just one thing. Whatever interests you today, say that, for example, you feel AI is a very good starting point for me, or you feel that something else is a good point, maybe not AI per se, but maybe generative AI or maybe chat GPT per se sounds very interesting. Whatever information that you're gathering from around your sources, gather it only for that one specific purpose. On generative AI, you might feel a little bit of FOMO कि बाकी सब कुछ और कर रहे हैं, पढ़ रहे हैं, मैंने नहीं देखा, but that's okay. You'll have to learn to live with that FOMO. If you're trying to become an expert at generative AI, learn only about generative AI. Spend most of your time learning about generative AI, and the rest of the time learning a bit about other things as well. That is how you will develop your functional expertise. Now when you're consuming information, consume information only on generative AI and apply a little bit of it to actually create something. Plus, build up more and more exposure around the same topic. When I say exposure, leverage mentors and leverage communities, but on those specific topics only. Otherwise, there's no dearth of information. You can go back and you can revisit everything that was created in the last 40 years, and even a lifetime might not be sufficient to cover up all of that information. Gathering more information won't get you anywhere. Gathering information on a specific topic and then getting those information pieces together into one place, applying what you're learning and taking it back to mentors, to communities, learning from them for one specific purpose, will build you the right exposure. So education is what you're getting at your institutions, but exposure is what creates a lot of difference in how you approach your career. Why did I say the word mentors and communities? Let us re-engineer. Okay, today I say I want to become an expert at generative AI because it sounds interesting to me. I also feel that there is a potential need for generative AI engineers maybe in the future, or generative AI experts in the future, and I want to build a career in that. Consume information on generative AI more and more every day. Start applying a bit of it. So you learned about the text generation format, which is Chat GPT. The image generation is Dolly, and then this generation of code. There's also generation of videos. So pick at least one of them, even generation of music for that matter. Now, if generating music is something that seems interesting to you, go to communities which are covering topics on this specific segment. Find mentors who are already doing this and who have become good at it, right? And when you are leveraging these communities, when you have found the right mentors to help you with these topics, take a bit of this learning and try to build something, create something of your own. Whether it is to solve a problem, maybe for a kindergarten, right, where you can take the education platform and you can create some music for them, maybe nursery rhymes, and give it back to them. It can be any format, or maybe you can actually create a startup in that space, or you can do something else with it. But gather information on specific, first of all, figure out a specific area where you want to develop your skill set. And second thing is, once you figure out what is that skill set, leverage mentors, leverage communities. After that, once you have decent amount of information, and this won't take you say more than a month or two, once you have decent information on the topic, instead of simply consuming more and more, try to take out a bit of that time and start creating something of your own, because what you apply is only what will actually stay with you. And coming to my last point, you might say, okay, this probably sounds fine, but I don't have the time for it. Where do I get the time for it, right? I will share one quick thing with you. It's called the 80-20 rule. I did not invent this rule. I've just been applying it in my own life, and a couple of people whom I've seen successful apply it in their lives as well. There is somebody who's called Pareto, and he created a rule called the Pareto's rule, obviously. Pareto's rule actually is meant for the business and economics, and it states that 20% of your efforts will get you 80% of your results. 20% of your customers bring you 80% of your customers. 20% of your profit of your product lines are actually more profitable and bring you 80% of your revenue. How do you apply it in your time basis? You have maybe 14 working hours in the day, 14 hours you're active, or maybe 12 hours you're active. You're already spending 10 hours, 11 hours into something. I'm not saying spend even 1 hour into doing what I'm asking you to do. Start spending just 15 minutes, literally just 15 minutes. Whatever topic you pick up, whatever skill set you think that you want to develop in the future, for that specific skill set, just start spending 15 minutes religiously every single day and do it very, very consistently. Gradually grow this 15 minutes into 20, 20 into 30, 30 into 1 hour, and that should be more than enough. So, not even 80-20, a 90-10 split of your time will also make you more polished for a job that you are trying to aim for. Now, once you're spending this 1 hour, where do you spend it? On a specific skill set, trying to develop expertise into one specific area, leveraging your mentors and communities, and then creating something from what you're learning. If you're able to do this well, you will realize that you will improve at least by 1% every day, and a 1% improvement every day is at least a 300 plus improvement, 300% plus improvement by the end of the year. That is what will take you towards your specific goal. If you have a goal which is to land up in a specific company in a specific role type, good, that's also doable. Maybe figure out people, find them out on LinkedIn who are today in the job roles that today tomorrow you aspire for. If not, if you want to truly leverage the non-linear economy, now is a very, very good time to actually start up something of your own or provide a different solution to what has already been existing for a very long time. Those are non-linear paths, but they will always make you learn much more than everything else. These are like accelerators in your career. So paths are open. There's ample opportunity for everyone, both in the job space and secondly in the entrepreneurial space, provided that you become a bit more intentional with what you want to do. With that, I will just wish everyone all the best. And I would say that I hope all of you fly far and wide on the wings of knowledge and learning. Thank you. And I'll open it up for questions.
Hello, guys. If you are having any query or questions, like you can ask in the chat box. Ma'am, there is a query from one, I think, Kuntumala Kavita. What is OEM? She wants to know about OEM again.
Yeah, OEM is original equipment manufacturer. So all of the organizations who build something, right, are called OEMs, and this is the same across all different industries. In the technology industry, if you say Microsoft is an OEM because it's creating technology, and similarly other organizations, right? So those will also be OEMs. It's say in the automotive sector, everyone who's creating a Hyundai or a Honda or a Maruti, they're also all OEMs. So every industry has OEMs, people who are building the primary component upfront.
Okay, moving on to the next question. Ma'am, there is a question that in the evolving job market, how has the rapid technological advancement transformed the job market, and what skills are now in high demand?
All skills are in demand, to be honest. What we see is, right, we try to gather trends, etc., from research reports and everything, but there is a requirement of every role type. For example, I'm not a coder, I don't code, but then my skill set is into go to market strategy. I create strategy for scale businesses. When I say scale businesses, these are larger subsets of businesses where you have a multiplier effect. So I work in the small and medium business space. As I was saying during my discussion as well, right? That if you try to go after something which is very hip and happening and very popular, and everyone is saying, hey, data engineer is such a cool role and I want to go after it, there is nothing called best. It is probably about a best fit. So while there might be a lot of requirement for data engineering roles, but are you the right fit for it is a question. Do you really want to do it? Maybe your skill set and your expertise and your appetite doesn't even align to it. So no point in going after something which just sounds very hip and happening. It's like saying, right, in India, all the kids in class 12 want to be an engineer. Why? We don't know. And then after 3 years we are asking ourselves the same question, what do we want to do? क्योंकि सबने
Yeah,
कह दिया कि इंजीनियर बन जाओ तो हम इंजीनियर बन गए. So that same strategy will not help you for a very, very long time. Instead, if you just pick up that what are you truly good at and try to see that where are the potential roles for the skill set that I have, and is it first of all, it should not be a dying skill set, it should not be a redundant one. You know, I cannot be working on a mainframe computer today for that matter. So utna basic, if you have that basic hygiene checks in place, everything has its own scope and area, provided that you're willing to work towards it and figure out that which opportunities are present in the area that I'm interested in. Reach out to the right people. There is ample opportunity. We are 1.4 billion people in the country. We have 75 million plus organizations. So no dearth of opportunities per se.
yeah, ma'am, that's right. So for the another question, like someone asked us that what is like importance and the role of higher education?
Education is very important, no doubt about it. But education, along with education, you also need exposure. And a lot of times it is the exposure which takes you farther in your career than basic education does. So basic hygiene education should be there, obviously, because it's like an entry point for a lot of different organizations.
Yeah,
Apart from that, higher education, maybe masters, depends on where are you fitting it in your career. So, for example, a lot of people right after their graduation will go for their masters. If you're doing it from a tier one institute, you have that great brand name, maybe it's a good choice. But otherwise, you might want to stay back for a little bit of time, right? Because it's not serving a specific goal for you. If you look at outside of India, most of the people who go for an MBA, the average age is 29, 30, and they come with at least 3 to 4 years of experience. In Indian classrooms, most of the people in MBA classrooms are freshers. And I realized the difference because I did my MBA after 6 years of work ex, and that made a lot of difference. I was able to connect to what the professors were teaching. Had I been in the regular classroom, that connect would have been missing. So there is no specific answer to, is higher education important, not important? Yes, it is important, but then at what time in your career? Today, probably starting out with a skill set, developing a deeper skill set, going into technicalities, learning more is more important than getting your higher education. After a point in time, once you have understood the basics of different things, 3 4 years down the line, that higher education might act as a accelerator in your career, and it might be a better fit.
that's totally true, ma'am. So from our one viewer, we have a question, Pranshu. Yes, ma'am, I also agree with you. I'm not interested, but I have taken the admission. What I can do? Nobody, you can't
Uh,
do nothing. You
Taking
just
admission in masters.
no, ma'am. He is not specified the thing. Just want to ask, he has taken admission in which he is not interested to do. तो अब वो क्या कर सकता है? भाई
देखिए
कोर्स
अब तो
कंप्लीट कर
एडमिशन
ले.
ले लिया है. हाँ, अब तो एडमिशन ले लिया है तो अब उसको कंप्लीट तो कर ही लो, बट ऑल्सो यूटिलाइज द opportunities that the place is giving you. What most people don't realize is that what most people don't realize is that every platform is today same for everyone, right? Same internet access to everyone, same sort of colleges. BTech, okay.
Okay,
BTech
yeah,
is
BTech.
basic education. BTech is basic education. You should complete it. Um, I said, right, it's a very non-linear world. When I say non-linear, everyone has access to the same platforms, same education, similar sort of books, similar sort of professors. It's not a lot of difference. What can you do today to leverage the most out of it? If you think that maybe technology is not something that you would want to pursue in the future. That's also fine. Just try out what are the alternatives where you can implement what you're learning today a bit, and then try to build a path on from there. प्लेटफॉर्म सबके लिए सेम ही होता है, प्लेटफॉर्म डिफरेंट नहीं है, सारे ही बच्चे बीटेक ही कर रहे हैं, सारे एवरीवन इज डूइंग एग्जैक्टली द सेम थिंग, बट व्हाट यू गेट एज एन आउटकम फ्रॉम इट will be different from everyone depending the time that you're investing into it. Try to explore the different areas that you feel are around you and whatever interests you, उसमें आप अपना एक्सपर्टीज बना लो, फिर आपकी डिग्री को से रिलेटेड आपको इतना प्रॉब्लम होगा नहीं. You'll, it will act as an enabler rather than a hindrance for you. You're speaking on mute.
Yeah, yeah. So, like true, ma'am, for the BTech thing, we Sorex people are also from the BTech background itself. Me and my senior, those we have built the Sorex. We are also from BTech computer science. So I can feel the pressure and the fear for the same for the audience. But ma'am, I feel while technical skills are crucial, I know it these are crucial. But what are the like importance of? I would like from you to know that सॉफ्ट स्किल्स की क्या इंपॉर्टेंस है, लाइक कम्युनिकेशन, अडेप्टेबिलिटी, ये सब चीज़ें भी इंडस्ट्री रिलेवेंट हैं. तो ये कहाँ पे एक
Yeah.
इंडिविजुअल को एक स्टैंडिंग आउट पॉइंट देती हैं इन देयर इंटरव्यू और एनीथिंग इन देयर करियर.
Actually, ये ही देती हैं. If you look at it, the slide that I was showing, right, where it had a T-shaped skill set. So T
या
is your vertical one is your technical skill set. Because you need a certain basic grounding. I can say, okay, I'm great at communication. For example, I speak well, I can write well, but then what do I write about if I have no content? Or what do I speak about if there is no preliminary skill set that I have, right? So a functional expertise into anything, it's like hygiene. It has to be there. You cannot survive without it. You cannot say मुझे कुछ आता नहीं है पर मैं बातें अच्छी कर लेता हूँ इसलिए मेरे को जॉब दे दो. कोई नहीं देगा.
कोई नहीं
राइट.
देगा, या आई एम श्योर.
कोई नहीं देगा. तो आपको एक बेसिक स्किल सेट चाहिए. वो बेसिक स्किल सेट आपका कुछ भी हो सकता है. वो बेसिक स्किल सेट, सिंस ऑल ऑफ यू आर फ्रॉम बीटेक, वो बेसिक स्किल सेट आपका डेटा एनालिसिस में हो सकता है. यू कैन एस्पायर टू बी अ डेटा साइंटिस्ट, यू कैन एस्पायर टू बी एन एआई एक्सपर्ट और अ जनरेटिव एआई एक्सपर्ट, और यू कैन लर्न एनी स्पेसिफिक लैंग्वेजेस मोर एंड मोर, राइट? तो वो बेसिक स्किल सेट आपको चाहिए. बट इन अ कंट्री वेयर देयर आर सो मेनी पीपल विद दैट स्किल सेट, you will still need those softer skills to make you stand out. And with time, as more and more things are actually done by technology, जो manual काम है वो सब तो technology करने लगेगा. So your skill sets are the reasons why you will stand out from other people. Communication, presentation, your entrepreneurial spirit, your growth mindset. These are the things which actually make a difference between you and the person sitting next to you. Most of the times, even in job interviews, the job interviews have two aspects. There is a technical round and then there is a cultural sort of round, and those cultural rounds are meant to assess this capability of yours.
Yeah, I have also when I was interviewing for some companies after my thing, तो मैंने भी ये चीज़ एक्सपीरियंस करी है कि they are having separate rounds for these to check these things of an individual. Like they take technical round and aptitude round at first, and then they'll call for the final HR one-to-one talk. So they'll ask these questions like, why do we hire you, or what like your goals, these kind of communications question. They want like basically they want to see like how candidate is, कि वो हमारे साथ कब तक जुड़ के रह सकता है, वो वाली चीज चेक करते हैं वो कि रिलायबल है या नहीं. मैम
Actually,
एज आई
not कब
वाज.
तक रह सकता है, but a lot of more other factors are.
या you
Yeah,
can
there's probably a
continue.
small lag in the video.
Yeah,
It is not just about how long you will stay with the organization, but the first question is, will you even be able to fit in the organization?
yeah,
Because every organization has its own cultural attributes, right? They operate in a specific way, and they've been operating the same way for many, many years. They know what works out for them, what doesn't work out for them. You have to go and fit into the ecosystem. You cannot recreate the entire thing, right? So during those rounds, they're trying to basically check that are you a good fitment there.
yes ma'am. So, ma'am, I was like talking about in the starting of the session about AI when there is a technical issue going on. So for that question, like there is an query we are having from our community that what is like from your point of view, what is the impact of AI and automation is going on the industry? क्या impact कर रहा है AI? You would know better because you are sitting in the one of the finest corporations of the country, or I can say of the world.
Yeah, but whatever I say is not endorsed by my organization. I'll put that disclaimer again. AI will not replace human jobs, but people with AI skills will replace the people without AI skills. I'll tell you why. So much information, so many things to do. If AI can do the drudgery work for you, and you can end up saving your time, right? Make you a smarter and more efficient person than the person sitting next to you. So your manual processes AI is not meant to replace human intelligence. At the end of the day, it is artificial intelligence, not human intelligence, right?
Yeah,
Uh, but then having that skill set is important on how to leverage it, where to leverage it, how can it make my productivity better, how can it make me more efficient. So those are essential skills that you will need. It's not meant to replace human intelligence, it is meant to serve human intelligence. It's like saying ki, I have a cell phone, but does the cell phone eliminate the need of me having to speak to people? No, it's just a tool to make me communicate better and communicate faster
sure.
and easier. It's not meant to replace the purpose or the process of communication with people.
Yeah, right, ma'am. And for that organization, I'm like particularly focusing on that. What's your experiences? That's why I've said that. So no issues about that. So,
I'm
ma'am, I
sorry, did
think
not
we
get the
are.
question.
No. I am just saying that now we are done with the session. I think we can wrap it up. We are done with the questions, guys. If you are having more questions, then you
Sure.
can post in the comment or you can just tag us in the community groups. We'll answer there. And thank you everyone for joining, and thank you Sanya ma'am for sharing your insights about these careers and skill sets. And for Sorex, it's a very great being to that you are the part of our session today. Thanks a lot. And now, guys, see you in the next session. Bye bye. Tab tak ke liye stay tuned with Sorex and have fun.
Thank you for having me. Bye bye.